Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. So I have my notes here, so I don't forget certain things, especially the earlier part of my life, which y'all see the title. I'm giving y'all a trigger warning. Trigger warning. As stated by the title, that's what I'm going to be talking about. Um, Experiencing very traumatizing things when I was young. Um, what I want to do is light a Palo Santo, for the energy and the vibes. Like I stated, trigger warning. This story may bring back memories for those who've also been through something similar, if not by family members and things like that. It can be by anybody, just anybody, any traumatizing experience. I love Palo Santo. It smells so good. Just want to set the energy. I have tissue on the side next to me just in case I might need it. I'm tired of crying about it. Like, I've been crying since I was a kid about a lot of things that happened to me. But yeah, I want to tell this story because I believe my story will help someone else. Um, I really do believe it can help somebody else because I went through a lot of internal pain when this happened to me. So, from the title, me being, I'm trying not to say the word because YouTube is very sensitive and they be censoring a lot of stuff and be taking down people's videos for a lot of things. This is actually a valuable lesson that I believe will help the mental state of just a lot of people in general, the youth, boys and girls, and what to do and what red flags and signs to see, even within your own family. Yeah. So, those who don't know me, my name is Tika. Welcome back to my channel. First, hit that subscribe, like button, and leave a comment. If you have anything to comment about on this video, please put the comment down below. I would do my best to answer back. Um, and be sensitive and kind and compassionate to those who do express in the comments what they've been through and their opinions and what they think. Like, let's just have respect. Let's have compassion, empathy. That's it. Okay. So, like I said before, my name is Tika. Some people know me as Shartika, some people call me Tika, whatever, right? So I was born 1991. So I'm a 90s baby. Yes, I am. I just turned 31 this month. Happy belated birthday to me. Um, and I've always been conflicted on telling my story about what I've been through because this might ruffle a lot of people's feathers, or be shocking to some people when this gets out because I'm going to put this on Facebook and of course it's going to be on my YouTube. Um, so I was born 1991. I was in foster care. I was already in the system when I was young, me and my twin and my younger brother. But so far, it was just me and my twin sister. I have a twin sister. I'm 20 minutes older. What did I write down? Because I know I jotted things down, especially from the early parts. So I don't like be all over the place because this type of story will have me all over the place, right? So I didn't get adopted until I was like 9 years old. So before that, you know, me, my twin sister, and my brother, we were like back and forth between other foster homes. But one woman who will eventually adopt me, my twin, and my brother, um, she had us like mostly on weekdays. And then on weekends, like me and my siblings, we would go visit our biological parents, my mom and my dad, my birth mom and my birth dad. Um, so this went on from I would say age like since I was like baby one, two, three, all the way up to age 6. After age 6, like visiting slowed down. Um, so we were with like, but I'm gonna say I because the story is about me. I was with my foster mom, who would eventually become my mother. She adopted us around age 9. So she was in her early 50s when she had us. Like, so she already had, her kids that are all fully grown. Um, what I'm gonna say, she had 3 children of her own. They were all grown up. One son, which is the nasty dude I'm gonna talk about. One son, he was the first, her first child, and 2 daughters, which are my sister. They're both, all of them are already out of the home because they were grown. My sister, I believe at the time when we were young, she was only 15, but she was already out of the home because she was away in college. That's her youngest daughter, her blood daughter, right? Alexa, turn 2 levels down. I got the wind chimes playing in the background with the rain sounds. It's very peaceful. But we gotta do this video. So she had 3 children of her own. So she adopted me, my twin, and later, like a few years later, she adopted my brother, but he was always with us, right? Um and her youngest, biological daughter was like around 15, 16 at the time. She was rarely home because she was away in college or whatever. But when she came back, of course, she's my yo, and all, like, she is the best sister ever. Like, she's like 15 years older than us, I would say. And she was the best sister ever. Like, just so dope, like, how it was back in the 90s being a teenager. That's like, she was really dope. But I'm gonna do separate video on like being raised around her and things like that. Very, very classy, very, very she was very driven. So I always looked up to her. um so with my brother, right? So this would be my adopted brother, but still, like, me and my sister, we've been around, this family since we were like very young. So that's our family. Like, you're my brother. Yeah. So one thing that I do remember being like, I would say 4 years old, I remember I couldn't pronounce his name. I'm gonna say his name. I'm gonna leave my other sisters' names out, but I'm gonna say his name. His name is Butch, nickname, but his first name is Lamont, right? And so he goes by the name Butch. Me being 4 years old, I couldn't pronounce his name, like, so I accidentally called him the B word, the bitch. And he threw a fit, like, ooh, I'm telling mom. That was already, I remember that like it was yesterday because it was so weird to me. I'm just an innocent child just trying to pronounce his name. And he always gave off a weird vibe. And that's why they say, really, like, children and infant, they know when to pick up energy. And I remember being young, he always made me feel kind of a little uncomfortable. Like, his energy was just fucking weird. Anyways, um, I remember he made it a big deal and told my sister and my mom that I call him the B word. And my mom gave me a whooping for that. He's like, I called him, and then, like, I don't know, certain things that like my mom did and certain things that my sisters did. It was a little bit weird. Like, I don't think they was thinking much about it, but it's still one of those, like, I forgive them though. I forgive them, especially my sisters and my mom. I don't know, but I think now, of course, you get older, you start to realize, like, certain shit just don't make sense. So I got a whooping for that because I'm like, why would a child, why me being 4 or 5 years old, call a grown man a bitch? Like, I don't, that right there. And I knew he did it on purpose. Like, because I was trying to call your name. So that was a red flag right there to me. And I remember this like it was yesterday because that left me such, like, it gave me such conflicting and confusing feeling. at such a young age. It was already a lot going on. I was already in and out of foster care, already felt like a sense of, okay, my parents don't want me. And I was starting to act out a little bit, like misbehave, like a bratty child, right? And another thing that he did, it's just like he was always like one of those men that were like, how to say it, like he always came around. Like, and at that time, I didn't know why, but now I know, like, he always came around asking my mom for something. Like, it was always something. Like, I didn't know the state of like his employment. You're a child, you really don't really. I did see a picture of him like being in the military before, just to later find out years later he got dishonorably discharged. So he didn't even stay in the military for that long. Um, but when I saw that picture, I kind of looked up to him. Like, I was like, okay, this is my brother. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to have that brotherly and sister bond. And he always came off cold, like he didn't like me and my sisters. Like he was so pissed off, like that his mother adopted us. That was the energy he gave off. Like, and us being young, we just innocent children. Like, and I remember being in school, like elementary school, and a lot of kids would ask, like, "Oh, you don't have a father? You don't have a father?" Because I realized, when you young, you realize like students, classmates are being picked up by their parents and their father. And I realized I don't have a male father in my life. And that's when I started questioning like, what's going on. Like I really started questioning my life when I was young. I was very, very observant when I was like a kid. Like my memories start from age 2. I remember a lot of things, and I remember observing a lot of behaviors from adults and things like that. And of course, I'm trying to figure out what's going on within me because I was going through a lot emotionally, and seeing my biological parents on the weekend and the visit slowly stopped. And it's like, I bet, now as an adult, I'm seeing it like I had a sense of feeling like I was being abandoned. Like, like, oh, our parents don't love us or something's wrong. I'm gonna do a separate video on that, by the way. If y'all want to leave a comment below, if you want me to do a separate video on why I got adopted, me and my twin and my siblings, why we got adopted. I'll speak more about like my biological mother and my father. I can do that, by the way. Yeah, I can do that on a separate video. But anyways, so back to my adopted brother. So he always complained about everything. Like if his mother, my adopted mother, if we had something for Christmas, like, because, back then when I was a child, I did not know that she was receiving money from the state. Because, when you're adopted, you get, money from the state, right? So, of course, she used that money to make sure we had a roof over our head, make sure we had clothes on our backs, make sure we had food in our tummy. And we always had the best Christmas. Like, we always had like the best bomb ass Christmas. And he would get jealous of that. Like he used to always tell her, like, you never used to do this for us. And this is a grown ass man, y'all. Like around this time, I believe he was already I would say he was in his 30s and his 40s, around in the 90s. I think he was already in his 30s in the 90s. And he would complain about every fucking thing. It was horrible. Excuse my language, you too. I'm sorry, but this is how bad it was. It was that bad. He would complain about everything. To now find out as an adult that my mom did a lot for him. He took advantage, and he burnt a lot of bridges with people in the family. He committed a lot of fucking crimes and it made him get on like the sex offenders list. Like a lot of secrets came out the older I got, and was able to, use computers and research, and it goes to show, what is the system doing? Foster care system. Are y'all really, not trying to say I regret being with the family that I was put into, but I really realized, like, do y'all not research? I guess they only research the parents who are adopting, but I'm like, don't you research the family too? I don't know. I guess because he wasn't living with us at the time. So, because if he was living there, I think they'd be like, nah, you got a sex offender in your crib. You can adopt these girls. You cannot adopt them. But I don't know, because I feel like sometimes I do think like the foster care system fails children if they don't investigate right. Like you put these children into a home that don't really look after their well-being. Some of them don't, some of these parents really don't care. They just want to check. Not trying to say that my mom didn't care. My mom really tried her best, but she was still learning too. And I feel like as certain things that happen, I did have like resentment towards her when her son touched me, because that's what he did. And I'm gonna get to that in a few, right? Um, and I know she felt guilty about it. And eventually I had to learn how to forgive. But anyways, so where I was at, I know I'm gonna be all over the place, but stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. All right. Um, So I just knew from young, like from being 4, 5, 6, 7, like just on and up, that he wasn't normal. Like what is normal, but still, like he was weird. The energy was weird. I didn't really feel safe. To me, he was just always like, I was actually a little scared of him when I was younger. Like I didn't feel safe. I think that's why I was scared, because I didn't feel safe. It was the energy that was off with him. And I'm gonna keep saying the energy that was off with him, because y'all gonna see why. All right. Not only did he touch me, but he did something else. And now I see why. Because to me, he always came off as a threat to me. Like I just didn't feel safe. Um, so I would say around age 14, 15, I was already going through a lot emotionally. I'm a young teenager. I'm trying to figure out myself in this world. I was already going through a lot mentally and emotionally when it came to like my image and not seeing too much of myself on television. And it was just a lot going on. And then being in the Black community, dealing with colorism because I'm dark skinned. Since you're dark skinned, you're not considered beautiful, like is a whole thing that I'm dealing with at such a young age. And also body size, weight. Um, when I was young, I looked to the performing arts. I really did. I loved music. My mom that adopted me, she was very strict. So I didn't watch too much of music videos until I was like around 14, 15. But before that, all I knew was the voices on the radio. Um, And the only time I would know certain artists is when I went to Virginia during the summertime, and it was cable at my grandmother's. So right. So but besides that, I looked to the performing arts to escape the pain I was going through, like being in foster care, and I wasn't really doing too good in school after a while. Like in elementary school, I was doing good, but I was getting bullied a lot, and a lot of the adults didn't help me. I'm gonna do a separate video on that too. A lot of adults didn't help me when I was getting bullied, to the point I had to start defending myself and fight physically back, because I was getting jumped, all of that, and adults would not help me. Like again, I'm gonna do a separate video on that. If y'all want a video on that, put it below. Me and my sister was just talking about how in the Black community they fail a lot of us. Like when it comes to adults, like they wasn't really observant. I don't know. Like it was just weird. And it's like when I complained or asked for help, it was like, "What did you do? What did you do?" And it was just fucking weird. And it's like I already don't have like at this time, like my mom, she's already in her 50s. Like what do I look like telling my mom what's going on in school, and she's gonna come up to the school and do what exactly? So a lot of the stuff I kind of kept to myself. Eventually, I guess she started figuring it out. I guess when teachers called her and asked her, but you know how society labels us, especially I believe they do this in the Black community. I'm already in public school. Um, I'm raised in Brooklyn, New York. I was born in Manhattan, Harlem Hospital, but then once I got adopted, I was raised in Brooklyn, New York. But it's like the public school system is very toxic. It's like they didn't take bullying seriously back then like they do now. And it's still hard now because of social media, but they did not take it seriously back then. I was so like, I wasn't like OD depressed, but I was just like, what the is going on? Like, I did not want to go to school. And I had moments where I tried to fit in, but I just didn't fit in because I didn't have the good clothes, because I wasn't the girl with the nice hair. I wasn't light skinned. I'm telling you, it's an issue. But anyways, I'm already dealing through that. And I did have two friends growing up. I'm still cool with them today. We did have our little falling outs here and there, but that's what friendships are. Sometimes you have your falling outs, you grow up and you outgrow each other, and that's fine. I did learn a lot from it. Um, but at that time, I would say 14, 15. Um, my mother's son, Butch, the one that touched me, him, he was living with us in the apartment. He was living with us because he eventually got divorced from his wife, my sister-in-law, which to this day, now I'm like, what the hell was she doing with him? And I'm happy she left him, and I see why she left him. She was really, really, she's still here. She's a very, very, very beautiful woman, and I think she really tried to work it out with him and see that he's just a big ass man. He looks like a man, but he's a baby, like he's a boy. His mentality is off. Um, he don't take accountability for nothing. I just so they end up getting a divorce. So being that, and then they have like two, three, no, two children with each other, which is my niece and my nephew. Um, yeah. So she got a divorce. I'm happy for her. Now that I'm an adult and I understand what's going on, I am happy she left him because he was toxic, horrible, and I believe abusive because he was giving those vibes, abusive. But once once they got a divorce, he ended up moving back in to the apartment. So this apartment already had my mom's room, the room in the back, and it's what is it? Two bedrooms? It's a two-bedroom apartment, but it's this one room that looks so huge, which is across from the kitchen, which is actually supposed to be considered a dining room, but my mom turned it into a bedroom. So the super ended up putting doors in that room. This was like years ago, like before I was even born. Like, but I found out that room is actually supposed to be a dining room, but it would be considered a three-bedroom, right? Two-bedroom, three-bedroom, right? So those rooms are full because my brother, he's in the back room next to my mother's room, and then the dining room bedroom is my room, my twins room, and my younger sister's room. So I have a younger sister, by the way, from a different family. She's adopted, adopted from a different family, but that's another story. But basically, my mom adopted four of us, right? So her son has to stay in the living room. So he took up the living room. This man stayed there for at least 4 or 5 years. I would say he'd been moved in from like when I was 12 years old, 12, I think either 11, 12, but he was there for a long fucking time. And I just never liked him. He was so weird. He'd be trying to act like he's the man of the house. And the thing that he did, because I was one of those, like, I always talk back, like, you're not my father, like, who are you telling me to do this and tell me to do that? Like, he was just like, I just didn't have respect for him. And that's what it is with children. Like, if they see, like, if a man is not doing what you got to do as a man, we don't respect you. Like, children's not going to respect you. Like, who are you? You're supposed to be my brother, you're not my father. He would throw a fit. um he would like punch me in my face, hit me, like, and then my nose was always bleeding. My mom would like tell him like, don't put your hands on her. Da, da, da. But it was something that was always happening. So not only he did something crazy later on, but he always kept putting his hands on me. Always kept putting his hands on me. So now, boom, when he touched me, what, 15 years old, around this time, okay, around this time, what year was this? 2000, I think this was when I was 15. I think that was 2000 and 2007. I think this might have been the year 2007, 15, 16. No, 2006. 2006. Yeah. Yeah. So either 2006 or 2007, when I was 15 years old, I was in the kitchen cooking breakfast. I remember I was wearing like a pajama shorts, and I was wearing pajama shorts, and he came in the kitchen while I'm like cooking eggs. I'm thinking he's gonna just go to the refrigerator because the refrigerator is right behind me, like, and the stove is a little bit, in front of the refrigerator or whatever. He comes behind me and starts touching me, like grabbing my butt. Um, he was like groping my boobs. And I remember, I'm sorry, y'all, because every time, like, okay, I'm trying not to cry, but I remember when because sometimes when I go back there, it's like the memory, like, and the feeling comes back up. I remember me like just leaving. I felt like my soul just left my body. It just left, and I just froze. And after like he was finished, he pat me on my shoulder like it was like a good girl, and walked out the kitchen. And I was like, wow. That whole entire day, I was like, what the fuck? Like I didn't know what to do. Um, and for some reason I was like, I couldn't even tell my mother because I felt like if I told my mother, she wouldn't believe me. And my twin went through something similar, but from an Arab guy at a beauty supply store. And when she spoke up about it and told my mom believed her, of course, and approached him and called the cops and stuff like that. But it was people in the neighborhood had the nerve to say that my sister was lying. So I that played in my mind too, as in I shouldn't talk about it because nobody's gonna believe me. Everything is gonna be my fault. And that's another topic too, because I hear this a lot, especially in the Black community, of when a female talks up about something, um, a lot of people would either say that she's lying or not believe it, or would like they would all of a sudden come out of nowhere like a Jezebel. She got to be a Jezebel, and it's not the case at all. Like that's not always the case. So it's like you don't really have people to have your back like that, and that was what it was. Like I said, if I was to say something, then is she going to take my side or not? Like I didn't know, and I was thinking about calling the cops because me being 15, I almost did, but now I see why. Like, if I did, it could have been a domino effect because me and my sister would have been taken out of the home. Like, all of us would have been put back into the system of being put into another foster care home. I think my mom would have ended up losing us because she adopted us, but I think it would have been a whole like, we got to take them away because we're still being taken care of financially under the state. You know what I'm saying? So I see now why my mom didn't go to the cops, but I don't think she would have gone to the cops anyway because it's her son. So it's like she's stuck in a hard place of protecting her son. But that whole day I was saying to myself, yo, am I gonna keep this to myself? And then there's a part of me was like, if I keep this to myself, he's gonna do it again. And I really felt like he was going to be the type, like if I didn't say something, it would have ended up into like sexual penetration type, you know. I felt like it was gonna get to that. And even before he touched me in the kitchen, I do remember he did touch like my boobs before me and my twin sister. He he was acting like he was playing with us or whatever like that. And he was just wanna he was like, yo, come in the living room, whatever like that. And me and my sister were young. I think we was like 12, 13 at the time. And he was like, oh, come in the living room, whatever, and play the video because he had video games or whatever. And he's like, cool, my mentality is like, okay, he's trying to like be nice to us and really get that brotherly and sisterly bond. This is me. And this is what it is. Predators be doing that shit. Like, and us being so young and naive, they will actually prey on the young. And I believe this is when he was like, okay, let me see how far I can go, and he did little sneaky things like, oh, y'all getting older now, y'all getting boobs. And I remember he touched me and my twins' boobs. Like he went like groped it like that. And then me and my sister's like, But we kind of like brushed it. You know how sometimes you just let things go, or like he's just probably acknowledging that we're getting older. That's the sneaky shit right there. And there's a lot of guys like that in people's families. Not only guys, there's females like that too, but still, like, you know what I'm saying? This goes for men and women. Be like, y'all, be careful who's in your family. Be careful who's around your children. Because people be doing sneaky shit like that. They're disgusting. There's really sick people out here. So I knew like after a while, like something was off with him because he would have a lot of porn DVDs on his on the table. It was not even his table. It was the home house. Ugh. It was the living room table, and he would have like hundreds of porn DVDs. That's already a red flag. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know if my mom saw them or not, but it was out in the open, and her plants are in the living room. So of course she would have to go in the living room. And by the way, we couldn't, once he was in the living room, we could never be in there, not even chill in there, because he claimed it as his territory, his room. So for 4 years, we couldn't really go in the living room like that. Only in like what Thanksgiving. If we had Thanksgiving, he had no choice but to tidy up and clean up every Thanksgiving, right? Okay, that's already a red flag right there. Like something's going on with him mentally, because to have that much DVDs out there like that and not like hide them, it goes to show how he felt like he was entitled. And my mom just basically enabled him. And I think sometimes I really think my mom, by the way, my mom is no longer here. She passed away in 2018. Um, yeah, so my adopted mom passed away in 2018, and my birth mom passed away in 2000, and I think it was 2007. My birth mom passed away in 2007. So I lost both of my moms are gone. So, and my father, he's down south somewhere. He's not ready to see us. He's going through his own thing. I'm just over it. So basically, to me, I don't really have parents that are around. I don't have no parents. That's just how I am now. Like, not trying to disrespect my father. It's just that I really don't have parents. That's just how it is. Because to be a parent, you gotta really be there for your children. Period. You don't. It don't have to be anything financially. Just be there for your children. Show up. It's all about showing up. But whatever. So he allowed whatever happened with the whole forced care thing to really get him down. And that's another story I'm gonna talk about my father. If y'all want me to talk about him and why I don't have a close relationship with him, I'm not gonna disrespect him, but I'm just gonna tell the truth, and that's what it is. I'm gonna tell the truth, and you know, if he wants to tell his, cool, their social media or call me, but whatever. If y'all want me to do a separate video on that, let me know in the comments below. I'll be gladly to do it. But back to this disgusting ass guy. Like when he did that the whole day, I was like, oh, what to do? Like, and because this happened in the morning time when he touched me, right? And then it dawned on me like I remember the day before he did that. I remember he came in the kitchen and said to me, like, oh, like he was talking in riddles, like being a fucking weirdo, like a weirdo he is. He was talking in riddles, like, oh, sometimes when things happen to you, you just have to learn how to take them to the grave with you. This is what he said. And I'm like, like I'm already annoyed. I'm going through a lot. Like I'm going through a lot. So I'm just like just annoyed with him. Like he pisses me off and I'm just like, ugh. Like even like his sisters already know how he is. Like he's just to the family, like like a nuisance or whatever, right? And he says, certain things that happen to you, gotta keep it to the grave, And I'm like, okay, like whatever. And he just went on. And then the next day in the morning, he touched me. So it was, y'all. I don't wish that on my worst enemy at all. It was traumatizing. Him doing that and like physically abuse, because that was physical abuse that he did to me. Like I don't know how many times he hit me, punched me, but like every time he did, I had nosebleeds. I was bleeding. It was bad just because I was speaking up for myself. Speaking up for myself, so he touched me. Like just boom, 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 and then sexually touched me. So it's like I was getting violated. I was really literally getting fucking violated, right? So That day he touched me, right? So I was like, keeping it to myself. Let me get to the point, y'all. I know. And then at night, his son came over. His son is like, I would believe he's 2 years younger or 3 years younger than me and my twin. And his son was with him playing video games. Sometimes his son will come over just to have, father and son bond or whatever, right? And I just remember I was just going through a lot emotionally. And I was like, yo, I don't know who to tell. So I told my friend at the time, me and her, we were having a falling out, but I was like, you know what, I need to talk to someone about this because I remember I did tell my twin sister. My twin sister was like, oh my god. Um, then I told my friend, and then after that, I was like, I got to tell my older sister on my adopted mom's youngest daughter, the one that's 15 years older than us. She she's already moved out with her own family and stuff like that. I remember calling her and I was in the bathroom sitting on the toilet talking to her and told her what happened. And I told her like Butch touched me, this and that. And I was crying. Like I just broke down and cried. It's crazy because when that happened, when he touched me, I didn't cry. I just held everything was just stayed inside me until that moment when I called my sister that night. That's when everything just came out and I just started crying. And um and then I remember her saying, what? Like she was screaming on the phone. And she was like, put mom on the phone. And I told her, no, mom doesn't know. I don't want mom to know. And I'm saying this because I was like, I don't think, but I'm thinking to myself, I don't think she's going to believe me. So she was like, Tika, put mom on the phone. And I was like, no, I started crying. I was like, I don't want nothing to happen or whatever. So I hung up on her because, she was like being belligerent, like she was upset, which she had every right to be upset. That's why he fucks with her. That's my sister. But anyways, so she I love her so much. Anyways, she came like I would say maybe 20, 30 minutes later. Like she took the cab, rushed over here, and my niece and nephew, they were like little at the time. Um, they were like infants at the time. And I remember hearing them come in and I was still in the bathroom too. Like I was just sitting there just I felt like I was just hiding or whatever. And I remember hearing them come in the home and they were screaming, "Hey, Uncle Buppy," because they would call him Uncle Buppy, right? And I remember hearing her saying, "Stay away from him. Come here. Stay away from him." And then I heard her walk into my mom's room. So she told my mom what happened, and I remember hearing my mom approaching him and ask him, did you touch Tika? Like, why would you do that? Like, she's like, what's going on? Are you on drugs? Which it doesn't matter if he is or isn't, but still, she asked him, what's going on? Are you on drugs? Come on, this is what we don't do. You cannot do this. It's like she was like, yeah, I adopted them because I am protecting them. I have to keep them safe. Like she really, and that's the thing is like he don't know what hurt and pain that he caused. And as an adult, now to find out, I'm not the only one he did that to. He did that shit to a lot of people. He hurt a lot of people. And I'm like, he's so fucking weak. Cause it's like I realized he hurt a lot of women, but he really like when it's time to square up with a man, it's like he's pussy. Like for real. I censor myself YouTube. I'm sorry for the cussing, but you know how it goes. Um, yeah, so I just didn't feel safe after that. She was like, "Look, I have to." And I remember I went in her room, and she asked me, how I'm feeling and things like that, and I was just crying. And he came in the room, and he was like, "Mom, I'm sorry. Mom, I'm sorry." And he's like, "Tika, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Which the apology is bullshit. He was only sorry because I told on him and he got caught. Because if I didn't say shit, he wouldn't have been sorry. It would kept on going. It probably would have been worse. Like, and I had a fear of telling because he came off very, very threatening to me. Like I never felt safe while he was there. The 4 or 5 years he was living there, I never felt fucking safe. And I always told my twin. I remember telling my twin like, I feel like he's the type like he would kill us. Like I always used to say that. I don't know if she remembers, but I always used to say that. Like I feel like he's the type that he will harm like people in his family. Like I don't know what made me. It was just the energy. Everything for me is just energy. Not knowing that that's what it was. Like picking up that that vibe and all of that. That's I just never felt safe. And to never feel safe as a child in your own home, it really, really impacted me a lot. So once he was saying he's sorry, my mom was like, "Look, you're gonna have to find somewhere else to live. Um, you can't stay here. I have to protect them. I have to protect them. This is why I adopted them. I'm trying to protect them. Like, give us a fucking chance. Like that. Like now being an adult, thinking about it, like, yo, did we even ever had a chance? That's why I'm saying, like, the system sometimes, like, they really just don't. I'm like, y'all just be giving kids to anybody, like. But then again, maybe because I really believe if they knew my brother was there, that would have been an issue. So they just didn't know. I don't know, but I noticed some people that do go into foster care. Some of their stories are really really horrible. Like so, it's like, and some foster care children that are now children, adolescents, and adults. They have this mentality of they feel in some type of way if you got adopted into a better family type mentality. And that's not the case at all. Because I'm like, everybody has their own hardships, their own challenges, their own trauma. And just because you think like somebody was adopted into a good family, there's no such thing as that. It's always going to be challenges. Some may be like major trauma than others, but it's always something going on. And either that can be with family, either it could be just yourself in general, what you go through as growing up as a kid and a youth. You know how it is, especially when it comes to community. That's why I was like, yo, Brooklyn, Flatbush, that community was not it. I was always being over sexualized by adults. Like I remember me being 14 years old and men thought that I was in my 20s. And I'm telling them, no, I'm 14. And like, yo, you lying, you lying. Like it was too much shit going on. Like it was like no support at all. Over sexualized, over sexualized us. And it's like, and when we asked for help, we never received help. So after my brother, I don't even like to call him my brother. I really don't, because he even admitted that he don't look at us as his sisters. So is that why you did what you did? But not really, because to find out that, like I stated again, I don't want to put nobody's business out there but mine. But I am not the only one he did that to. Y'all could put the puzzles together how y'all want, but I'm not the only one he did that to. So I'm thinking like, and this is when I started to question my mom. And then the relationship between me and her started fizzling a little bit. I wasn't disrespectful to her, but she did say like, we weren't that bad. Like we never like you weren't like we didn't give her a hard time. And this is what she said to us before she passed away. She said she loved us because I really felt like after that happened to me, like I felt a little bit distant with her because I kind of felt like she didn't do enough to protect us. But then now I'm thinking about it as a grown woman again. I don't know how it is to be stuck in that position of being a mother and your son doing that to your daughters who you just adopted as your own. And, she loved us as her own. And it's like not only she's trying to protect him and hope that he gets right mentally and believe in himself because he didn't. He's horrible. He's a horrible person. And he really took out his pain however he felt and hurt people, and that's how he lived his life. He was very manipulative, very very disgusting towards his family, and he was just very he was the definition of narcissism too. Like it was really horrible. It felt like I was living with the devil. He's literally the devil. And when she finally said like, look, you gotta go, he didn't leave fast enough because he was still there maybe for a week. So I think my family was helping him to like get his own place. So it was like, again, the family's helping him to like at least get out of the apartment so I don't feel uncomfortable, but I still felt uncomfortable, because I'm like, why is he still here? Like, and then that's when I started to run away. Like I wanted to be like at a friend's house. My mom would always find me. She would always find me and be like, look, you gotta come home. Come on now, you gotta come home. And I just didn't feel safe. I always felt like, and I felt like, I thought he was going to kill me because I told on him, or he was going to poison my food or do something sneaky. I always had that, I just never felt safe with him. And remember, it goes back to what I said before when I was little, 4 or 6 years old, how he was always weird to me. Like it was always a weird energy, like it was unsafe. And that's what it was. Because look what happened. Like in my teenage years, he he violated me. And once he finally left, moved out, he would always keep coming back. And then, so it's like it was never, I never, like it's like it never got rid of him. And it took me a while to really heal from that. I'm still healing from it. It's not as bad as it used to be, but after that happened to me, I really blame myself. And I remember my sister told me, like, don't ever feel like what happened to you is your fault. She told me that night that she came over and told my mom what happened. She said, don't don't ever feel like what happened to you is your fault, because it's not your fault. But coming from your sister is like, okay, but still, I still felt like, okay, it's my fault. Maybe if I didn't wear shorts, maybe if I, and then just think about it now, because I didn't realize it then. It's just with time, things about me started just changing. I started covering up more. I didn't even, especially realizing how men were sexualizing me and things like that. Because when I was young, I always had, like, when I was 13, I was already developed in a way, right? And I remember just being a tomboy and still wanting to play with the boys. I couldn't even play with the boys because they want to either touch me, or it was fucking crazy. Like my mind was not on sex at all. Like I wasn't even sexually active when I was that young. I didn't have sex until I was like 17, 18. But a lot of adults thought I was being in intimate acts when I was a teenager. Like when I was young. And that wasn't the case at all. If they see me with a bunch of boys, I'm really playing tag. Like I used to climb on stuff. I just love playing tag. Like being adventurous and aggressive, they will always assume I was doing something else. So it's like me and my sister was just talking about this, like how a lot of the adults in our community let us down. And they do this to a lot of the youth. I don't know if other millennials have the same experience, but if so, let me know in the comments, because I would like to do like more videos on how we need to change the mindset of the community, especially for the younger generations, because I feel like how things were projected onto us, it affected us in some way, and it still affect us if we don't wake up and see like, yo, what happened to me wasn't really my fault. This is what other people's fears, insecurities projected down onto us. So after my mother's son, brother, whatever, did that, he moved out, had his, I guess, his own apartment. I guess they helped him get it or whatever, under whose name, I don't know, because he was already a registered sex offender, by the way. So I didn't even know until, I'm old enough to research it now. Um, so he didn't really have nothing going for himself. I noticed he did date a lot of young women, which I'm like, okay, whatever. Um, I just never felt good after that. I remember like I kind of just let myself go, like as in like since he can get away with that. Because after that happened to me, I didn't receive no therapy. Um, I didn't even talk about it in school. I'm surprised I didn't bring it up to my guidance counselor, because um I think I did. And since I told my guidance counselor he doesn't no longer live there, I think that's why they didn't pursue like legal actions. Because if they had pursued legal actions, like get ACS involved, that would have had the system like, wait, aren't these girls adopted? So this is going on in the home of someone who adopted them. They would have ended up taking us out the home. And it wouldn't only affect me, it would affect my twin, my brother, my younger sister. So at that time, I was like, okay, I can't talk about it too much. I don't even think my friends in high school, because this is when I was in high school, I don't think my friends knew in high school that I went through that. I just started changing, like, um, I started wearing do rags. I started looking more tomboyish. Like, I was confused. Like, I was wondering if I'd even like boys anymore, or like having crush on boys or do I like girls? Like I was very conflicted. I was standoffish because that time my mentality was like, if I can't be safe in my own home, I feel like everybody else in the world is a threat too. I can't feel safe nowhere. And that was my mentality while I was in high school. And I really didn't I had friends, but it wasn't really especially with other people, I didn't really connect with them like that. It was cool and all and that and people didn't understand why I behaved a certain way. I was very I was into singing a lot, talent shows and stuff like that. I found escape through performing and that helped me escape. But without that, it was like I felt very angry. I felt very rebellious, like just very, you know how young teens go, the feelings that we go through, and just knowing I didn't get help for what happened to me. So thank God I was single in high school. I didn't mess with nobody in high school. I kind of was talking to dudes that were already older. So y'all think the R. Kelly shit is a lot of motherfuckers out here that be moving like R. Kelly, but I digress. So I was dating like dudes from outside the school, and I start, and for people who assumed, there's I'm already fucking, so I'm like, since I'm fucking, I'm gonna fuck. So I really start to let myself go and just date and have sex and I just realized I think I did it because I just kind of was like, yo, if I'm gonna get used up and violated by my brother, then hey, I deserved it. Like and then I just didn't protect myself sexually after a while. And I just like it really took a toll on me. And then I was drinking more and when I went off to college, I was drinking a lot more and it really affected me like in my first year of college. Like it really affected like my performance in my classes. And my mom, she did try to like ask me what's going on and how I'm feeling. And I wouldn't really answer her because I'm like, you should know. Like, so the relationship was a little bit off right there. And I did not do good my first year. Um and it's crazy because I had a scholarship and all of that, and I was rushed to go into college too. I wasn't ready because I graduated high school. I would say maybe a year early or a semester early. I don't remember. I think it was a year early, and um I just wanted a break. I wanted to figure out what I want to do. But my mom was on some like, oh, you can't stay here. You gotta go to school or you need to find a job. But I'm like just sitting down, like, let me figure out if what I want to do. It was like I was forced to just do a lot of things that I didn't want to. And that's where another resentment for me built up for her because it was like I didn't even like I wanted to figure out what I want to do. I didn't even heal from getting molested. Like I didn't even so, and then I remember at 19, after the year in college, I got kicked out. Yeah, because I did not do good with my grades at that time. Um, so I was like, you know what, let me just focus on my mental health. I really had to figure out around 19, 20, like, look, I need to go to therapy. So I signed myself up for therapy. Um, all of that. It was very, very hard. And around that time I was dating. But around that time I was also going through a fallout with my friends. And then me and my friends broke, like, our friendship wasn't the same like it used to be. Like it was a lot going on in my life. And hold on, y'all. Let me see the title here. Because there you go. And I've learned that all of that I was holding on to, this is why they said forgiveness is very important because I couldn't stand him for doing that to me. And every time he came over, I was just disgusted. Like I would stay out of his way. And he would always come over and he drained the life out of my mother for real because he had nothing going on for himself. He couldn't hold on to a job. It was very hard for him. And I see why, because he was a registered sex offender. So of course they're gonna look this up in your background and take advantage of you or just disrespect you because you know it was always something. I don't know anything. He always came over and just told her a lot of stories about why things aren't working out for him. And he just always needed money from my mom as a man. Like, come on, like, what the fuck? and he would just always be jealous if he saw us with all this stuff. It was just so it was very taunting for me to always like see him, and he felt like he could just do whatever he want. He always came over in the neighborhood. Um, a lot of the people in the neighborhood knew him. They even stated that he did a lot of fucked up shit in the past. He robbed from people, stole from people, and I was like, I did not know this, and now I can see why. Like a lot of the people in the neighborhood, because it'll be generations and generations still in the fucking same place, and it's like how these people know more than we do, and it's like, and they would take it out on us as adults. They would take it out on us, the younger generation. Like we don't know that what's going on. Like my sister had a fight with one of the neighbors, and the girl had the nerve to scream to my sister, "Oh, your brother, my bad, your brother stole from my mother." And my sister's like, "What? But your mother stole from us," which was true because we found my mom's package in her mother's garbage. But my mom should have called the cops. My mom was nice to too many people. My mom should have called the cops because that lady stole our package, and she lived next door. So if y'all see this video, y'all know who I'm talking about. But anyway, she stole our package, like a Christmas. My mom had like a holiday fruit cake she ordered, and our package went missing. Her package went missing. So something told her look in the garbage. I don't know what made my mom look in the garbage, but she looked in the neighbor's garbage and she found her missing package. And we found out who stole her package. So whatever. So my sister and her daughter was going through it. I obviously butted in, jumped in to defend my sister because I'm like, at the end of the day, woman, you're grown. Like Shorty was like 21 years old. Me and my sister, we were like 16. But it was like a lot of these neighbors would tell their children stuff, and they would like tease us or try to bully us. And it was just blindsided. Like it blindsided us. Like a lot of the stuff that he did, it kind of was like taken out on us, and we didn't know why. Like I'm just, oh, it was crazy. But anyways, so eventually now, where's he's at now? Where is he at now? He's locked up. He's doing life in prison. You want to know why? Because he committed a murder. He killed a young girl. I'm not going to say her name out of respect for her family. Remember I told y'all he likes to date young girls. Remember he's what you call it, sex offender. So since 1990, and I was born 1991. So I guess because he didn't live with my mom at the time. So because if he had lived with my mom during that time, they would have been like, no, you cannot. But I feel like they got to investigate people's family now too when it comes to the foster care system. Even if the person don't live with them, I know that's like hurting, but it's like, yo, you got to make sure that this person do not go near the children at all. So I feel like I don't know if back in the 90s it was different when it came to background um search, but something got to get done because I hear all the time from like foster care kids that they still get violated. They still like it's a lot of shit that's going on. That's why some of them who are in the system, like some of us become angry and the pattern repeats. I don't want to be like I always tell myself like I don't want to be a young mother. Like I want things different, like things that I've used, especially when it comes to family. Like I don't even have kids yet, y'all. Um, I'm in a relationship now. I'm still not trying to say the relationship is bad, but it's like because I've been through so much growing up. Is some I have a view of what I want my life to be, especially if I'm bringing kids into this world. I want to be somewhere for myself and where I want my husband to be and and things like that. And if I don't get married, I'm okay with that too. Like I don't mind. I gave myself at least by the age 40, if I don't have kids or married yet, I don't mind adopting. I don't mind adopting because I was adopted. I'm happy my mom adopted me and still gave me a chance. It was just that she had to deal with her fucking crazy ass son. Yo, and I feel bad for her because my mom really took care of a lot of people in the family. My mom was my mom that adopted me, she's a 40s baby. She was born 1944. She was born 1944, and she had a mother that wasn't really there for her when she was young, but my mom learned how to forgive and love her mother. And to this day, her mom is still alive. Grandma Evelyn just turned 91 years old, and my mom still loved her and did her best to take care of her. And so I understand now because when I was a teenager, I was like, why are you protecting your son? Like she did enable him though. I know sometimes you just gotta throw your hands up like, yo, but then again, he did come off to me. He came off, he was the type like he was gonna kill somebody. Like, and look what happened. Like he murdered his ex-girlfriend. His ex-girlfriend was what, 20, 22, 23 years old. And this man is in his like what, 60s. I'm telling y'all, this man is in his 60s now. Is it 60s or 50s? Like 58 or whatever, late 50s. And he eventually got upset because she didn't want to be with him no more. And he was being abusive to her. And I didn't even know this girl. I never met her. And I didn't know about this until 2016. I was like in a relationship with some guy. And I was always in Long Island. So I was always in Long Island and I heard about it because it was on the news. And he eventually stalked the shit out of this, stalked her just because she didn't want to be with him no more. Because he didn't have nothing. Because this is how some of these predators think. Once they find out, like, look, damn, no grown woman want to get with me. Because no woman who got her shit together is going to get with a guy, especially if you're already a sex offender and you don't got your shit together. Like, come on now. Unless you Nicki Minaj, that's a different story. Because I don't know. I don't know. They saying that's not true, but that's another story. But anyways, come on. And you would get with them, then so I guess he was like, you know what, like, damn, not even the young girls want to talk to me. So I guess he felt some type of way. And I heard she worked at a pizzeria. So I guess the way he was getting his food was through her. Like, cause he would always come over, like before all of this happened, he was always come over and cook food at the home. And I'm like, yo, why is he eating up all the food? Like he would literally come over and eat up all the fucking food in the home because he didn't have no food. He didn't have a job. He couldn't keep up nothing. So he would always keep coming back to the home, asking my mom for money. My mom's like, look, I don't got it. Like at that time, my mom was struggling financially too, or she was just tired. Like, come on now. Come on. Come on. And at that time, I think my twin sister was in school. So it was too much going on. He was always, um, coming asking for something, draining her. And I remember one night he came, my mom was like, I definitely don't have it. I don't have it. So I guess he like, damn, like my mom ain't giving me money no more. Like it's a wrap. I give up. That's the vibe he was probably in. Like he just gave up on himself. Like, dude, you fucked up everything good that was in your life. You were married to a good woman. You didn't know how to value it. Because once your wife have kids, she's more valuable. You didn't know how to value her and your family because he didn't love or value himself. And I obviously seen that he had father issues, which is understandable. Don't we all have father issues? But you don't take what you've been through, you don't take your pain, decide to fuck up, be an evil person and hurt other people. You just don't do that. But anyways, that's what he did. So he chose a lot of fucked up shit to do to people, and his karma came back as in like just not being a respectable man with quality at all. Like he couldn't even possess that energy. He just gave off horrible, negative, evil energy. To me, he was always like that fucking monster under the fucking bed. That's what he was to me. And I felt like I was always living with evil, navigating through it because it's like I don't know what I'm gonna say wrong or do wrong. And that motherfucker gonna take me out. That's how I was thinking with him. I just never liked him. It seemed like other people in the neighborhood like them. He was one of those like he would like I don't know like he would just be a Dr. Jackal, Mr. Hyde type of personality. Like people just didn't really know him. They thought they did. So when they found out what he did to that young girl, they were so shocked. Like I was in shock because it's like I lived with this all the time. Like I lived. If I had ever met that young lady, I would have told her, like, you need to stay away from him. And I feel so horrible for her family. Like it really, I even sometimes, I still do it here and there, but not as much. But I used to, after that happened to her, I always used to blame myself. Like, maybe if I had called the police when I was 14 years old, but then I'm like, I was a child. So I couldn't, I was a teenager. I couldn't be in that position. I can't put the blame on myself, but it was like, yo, what if I did call the police? Um, Even though my twin, my sister, my brother, my other sister, look, we would have been taken out the home. We would have ended up right back in foster care. And once you hit your late teens, not a lot of people are going to adopt you. So we would just been all in the system. So it was like, you know, because I feel like if I had, he would have been locked up. He wouldn't have no access to someone else. And but then again, it's like, hey, if he would have done it anyways. Like, I don't know, because this is a pattern with him. I don't know, but now he's doing life, and some people, they're adamant. Some are in a stance that he didn't do it. Yes, he did. I believe he did it. Like when I heard, I didn't even question he did it. I know he did once I heard it. I was like, yeah, because growing up, I always felt he was that type. It was the energy about him. I just never felt safe. I felt always unhappy, always on guard. And it's like, for me to grow up around that energy is a lot. And I had to learn how to not feel bad for what happened to me, because I started self sabotaging and not. I used to, when I was young, I wanted to become a singer. I did try it out a little bit. I got my foot into the industry, but then it's not what it seems. Y'all know what's going on. If y'all want me to do a video on that, leave a comment below. My experience with that, because I feel like that was only going to add on to trauma that I've been through, because the industry is no better. They always got some other shit going on too behind the scenes. But anyways, when it comes to, yeah, some people, whatever in the industry. But anyways, um, I just had to learn how to go seek help, go to therapy, and actually talk about what I've been through and learn, and finally understand that it wasn't my fault. Because for decades, I would say like maybe 10 years, because when it happened to me and I was like 14, okay, 15, I didn't seek therapy until I was like 19, 20. Even through that, it was like I was still partying, drinking, having sex, and getting into unhealthy relationships. And I realized I was attracting men that was similar to him, which is like it was similar attitude and this and that. And I also was feeling down because I had the chance to finally hear from my father when I was, what, 16, 17. I heard from my father, but the only reason I was able to hear from my father because my birth mom passed away when I was 16, and I was able to meet my biological siblings again, because my mom had 9 children. So, but me and my twin and my brother, it was three of us that were together, and my adopted mom adopted three of us. So it was, I have rest of the siblings that were out there, and I wasn't able to be in touch with them because um the once we got adopted, I guess it was a closed adoption. That's what I was assuming. Go to find out that that wasn't the case. My adopted mom, lied about not knowing where my mom was, just to go. I know she did it to protect us in a way. I understand that now, but it's like, you got to give us a choice, because I had resentment, not her son doing that to me, but also because she lied about not knowing where my adopted no lied about not knowing where my birth mom was, after me and my twin been asking her ever since after 9 years old, after getting adopted. We was like, oh, have you heard from our mom, Vanessa? My birth mom name is Vanessa, by the way. So we used to always ask my mom, my adopted mom, do you know where Vanessa is at? And she would be like, no, 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 I haven't heard from her. I've been just to find out that that wasn't true. I'm like, come on now, like, but that's another story. Like, if, like I said, if y'all want me to talk about like my adoption stories, when I found out my birth mom passed away, how do I feel about it? Just leave a comment below. you know, I just had to learn how to cope and heal through a lot that has happened. Um, but I recently did go through a spiritual awakening. I would say around age 27, 28. It was before my adopted mom passed away. I would say 2 months before. Like, I just had a random feeling and it just felt so weird. Like, something's about to change in my life. I don't know what it is, but something's about to change drastically. That was the feeling that suddenly hit me. And then a lot of things came to me, like the way I was treating myself wasn't healthy. I had to learn how to heal and forgive. So, to my mother's son, but I do forgive him. Um, I had to learn how to forgive him because I was like, even when I saw him at my mom's funeral, like I just looked at him disgusting. Like I was like, I scolded him, like, oh, because I felt like he drained her so much. Like, and once he got sentenced to life after killing that young girl, it was like that also made my mom very, very sad and very disappointed. And I felt like that cut her life too. My mom was already going through a lot from like smoking and kidney problems and issues and stuff like that. And she was on dialysis. So it was a lot of things that took a toll on her health, but also I feel like because of her son and other things and his father and just it was just a lot. My mom been through a lot. Like I said, she was born 1944, so it was a lot of things she experienced, and I had to learn how to forgive her for certain things because certain things that she did it out of to protect us, as in like not really telling us where our biological family was at, and I guess because she didn't want us to be exposed to like witnessing our mom going through like a drug addiction because my birth mom was going through a drug addiction, um, and she eventually passed away from opportunist infection. I don't know what infection took her out, but of course, because people, because she passed away due to AIDS, but it was an infection. Because people don't understand that HIV/AIDS are two different. And when some people be like pass away from AIDS, that's not the correct wording. It's what disease did she have that caused her to pass? Because it's not the AIDS itself; it's the disease of whatever she had. Those who are in medical know what I'm talking about. Because when people be saying like I'll just be like, you gotta educate yourself more on that. Just educate yourself more. But so she died to an infection and it didn't help because of the AIDS. So her immune system wasn't able to fight it off. So she died. And that's when I was like 16 years old. I should say 16 or 17. I don't remember, but I was in my late teens when she passed. And my mid teens, late teens, one of the two. But yeah, I learned a lot. So, um, I had to learn how to cope, but in a healthy way. And one of the healthy ways of coping was going to therapy, talking about it. Um, I had to learn how to forgive myself, and because I was out here wilding, I was about to like, be like, "Fuck you, dudes," and just violate a lot of guys because I was so angry, like, and I feel like a lot of men in my life disappointed me. And this is why some females come off the way they do, especially if they don't have like any male figure. Like I didn't have a father growing up. I do remember my birth father from when I was 2, 3 years old. And I remember it was all good memories. Like it was never any horrible memories. Like I feel like he was more present than my birth mom, especially when it came to interacting with us and playing with us. But set the vibe. This smells so good, y'all. But my my advice to those who are watching my video who's going through something similar, especially the youth, like if you going through something, young ladies, because I know there are young ladies that some of them don't even want to live no more because of what they've been through. And trust me, I know how it feels. Like I had plenty of times in my life where I just felt like I was disgusted. Like I just felt really like I felt very disgusted with myself. I didn't know how to be comfortable in my body because of what happened to me. Like I feel like when I was in relationships, like I just had to be blackout drunk just to have sex because when they would touch me, it would bring me back to having flashbacks of what happened to me. And It was like I was always coming outside my body just to feel numb. And that's just not the way to go. I had to learn how to cope and heal. And I'm telling you, therapy really helps. Like talking to a counselor or whatever, a psychiatrist, it really, really helps. Me, I don't believe in medication, but if that's gonna work for you, cool. But for me, I was like, I just love to talk. I feel like talking gives me healing. Like some people say I talk too much. Someone I care about recently told me I talk too much, and that's I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna work because I like to talk. Like I feel like talking helps everybody. Like if you don't want to go on medication, because I feel like medication don't really help some people like that. Because I feel like if once you're off it, especially when it comes to like mental health, once you're off of it, it's like you definitely have to get back on it. Because if you stop taking it, I think it causes like a withdrawal or whatever. Hey, if I'm wrong, please leave it in the comments. But I don't want to depend on I don't want to depend on like a medicine or a drug. Because basically it's a drug. It's not a medicine, it's a drug. They say it's medicine. I feel like medicine is like eating right. Watching what you consume, which means whatever you're watching on TV, listening to music, because music is very, very important when it comes to mental health. A lot of people don't understand like today's hip hop and all that music is very, very, very toxic to a lot of people's mental health. It's a setup. This is what I had to realize. Like during my spiritual awakening, before my mom passed, I was like, I realized a lot of things is set up for us, especially in the Black community, who are focused on like designers. Thank God my mom didn't like. When I was young, I used to get teased for not having like the bomb ass clothes or name brand. I'm happy my mom didn't raise me like that. Like she raised me to just be happy to have clothes on my body. Just be happy to be grateful. The fuck, just be grateful. People be complaining because they don't have Jordans. Like what? People be complaining about things they shouldn't be complaining about. Be grateful. You have a roof over your head. You have food in your stomach. Like certain things people be crying over. It's like, I know, teenagers, they're in peer pressure, so they're not gonna understand. But if you're an adult and you still feel like inadequate, and it doesn't help with social media, because social media portrays a lot of lifestyles that's not even real. And then when you really get to know these people and find out their story behind the camera, a lot of them are fucking miserable. A lot of them is abusive relationships, financial ruin. I'm telling you, like always be happy and be grateful with your life. Wake up in the morning and say, thank God for what I have. And pray for people who don't have as much. And do your best to give back. That's all I'm saying. Cause it's like I had to learn that because I used to be one of those people that just complain about the minute things of, and I'm like, you know what? There's other people out there going through it, not trying to dismiss pain. No, how to say it? Not trying to dismiss, a feeling, of one's feelings, but it's okay to feel some type of way, but don't dwell in it and just observe your thought and just let it go. And just be like, you know what? Today I'm feeling not at my best. I'm feeling pessimistic and negative. Let me think about something that's positive. Let me think about being grateful for this, for that. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm grateful for where I'm at. And I'm telling you, your life will shift. It will change. And the people in your life, you have to understand some of them really are toxic. Some people are really stuck. Like I know that like I just turned 31. A lot of people that I grew up with, even dudes I dated, I realized they are still where they at when I met them when I was 17, 18 years old. That's weird to me. Like there's nothing else going on in your life. Like you don't want to start a business, you don't want to start a legacy. And a lot of these people I used to date, some of them got families. Some of them not even taking care of their families. They're not taking care of their kids. And I'm like, yo, y'all just repeating a toxic generation. Like, and this is why when the youth becomes older, this is why they don't respect their elders. Me, I do my best to respect my elders. Like, I just be like, yo, if this person needs my help, I'm gonna help them. I don't believe in like just giving up on our elders, even though like some of them wasn't all that great when we were young. you still got to help them because I feel like they learn later than we do. Some of them don't have spiritual awakenings until they're 60 years old. Like some everybody has their own process of learning and figuring things out. We're not going to always be on the same level or page. And if we're not, who are we to judge? So let people just go through their life. And as long as you are compassionate and empathetic, and I just had to learn how to not let what happened to me turn me into a disgusting person because it was getting there. It was getting there. Like I was very, very disgusted and I was very, very angry. And I was realizing that I was starting to take it out on people that didn't even do nothing to me. And I feel like, okay, you similar. I feel like if you out here just doing stuff with, teenagers and shit, I'm gonna violate you. Like I was on that type of mentality, but that's not right at all. Two wrongs don't make it right. So I'm telling y'all, it was a lot. Like, and I wanted to tell my story because I recently been having dreams of just being chased. Like I feel like he got out of prison and he was just chasing me. And I'm like, why am I dreaming about this dude? Ew. Like, and then I saw a quote by Maya Angelou, right? I think I have it. I screenshotted it on my phone, by the way, y'all. So, um, is this quote by Maya Angelou, right? I might put it on here after this video, like put it in here somewhere. But the quote said, "There is no great agony than bearing an untold story inside you," and that's what it was. It was like I was. There we go. There is no great agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Like, and I love Maya Angelou. Like, I love a lot of her quotes. She's very inspirational. And I believe her story is something similar, but I think she got raped by a man. Sorry, she got the R word. Ooh, don't censor me, YouTube. She was violated when she was young, when she was a child, by a friend of the family, I think. And then you know what I realized back in those times, like down in the South and stuff like that, because I think this happened to her in the 40s or the 50s. 1950s or something, right? They were actually showing up. The black men were actually showing up for the women and children of the family, but they was taking it too far. They was out here. You see how other cultures, they'll cut your hand off, cut your head off, set you on fire. This, yo, once she said and told the men of her family what this guy did to her, they went after that man and they ended him. That's all I'm gonna say. Because you know how YouTube is so sensitive. They ended that man. And that shocked her because she felt like, wow, my voice, and that's how she knew the power of her voice of standing up for herself and talking. But it was so much, she was like, wow, my voice can take, it could cause a person's life to end. That's how she felt. And it shocked her. She was like, oh, she didn't want this person's life to be over. So it caused her to stop talking, I believe 7 to 10 years, I think. She stopped talking for years. Like she was mute, like she did not want to talk because of that. And then eventually, when she started talking again, she was into poetry and lectures, and then I would say study Maya Angelou. Like I really love a lot of her speeches and her quotes because I can relate to her. Like I never saw a guy life being ended because of it's the opposite. It's like I feel like people don't really help out, they just be like, okay. I feel like if I did have men in my life, they would have took care of the situation, period. It's just that I don't have men in my life. So I mean, I do my biological brother, but he was around during that time when it happened to me. So, and I wouldn't want to put him in a messed up situation, which is going to cause him to get locked up because we have to still protect, our brothers. Because I wouldn't like if something was to like drastically happen to me, and I know he will set it off and get locked up. I wouldn't tell him that. It's like because it's gonna get him locked up. Like I wouldn't want to do that to him. So it's like you got to do things the right way. If something was to happen now, try to get the law involved. Um, and for the women who went through something similar, I'm sorry. I understand your pain. Um, just know that it really isn't your fault what happened to you. Um, You don't have to beat yourself up. Just love yourself and really still protect yourself. Because after that happened to me, I really felt used, and I realized I just gave up. Like, but I just felt like since I was used and it was like abused, I was like, yo, you know what? Forget it. This is what they want me for, anyways. Like, I really had that mentality, and now I'm at that point. Like I have to um protect my energy because that's what it is. These predators, they feed off of the innocence energy. It was an innocent energy. Like I feel like once he did that, because he was like basically the first man that, especially that I remember touching me. Because I heard like I don't know my okay, I'm gonna speak about that another time because I heard that me and my sister we was being touched since we were young. That's what I heard, but I don't remember any guys touching me while I was with my mom. This is what's being put out there of why we weren't able to stay with our biological family or whatever. I don't I don't know, but that's a different story. But from my memory of my adopted brother touching me, that right there was like I felt like after that, like I wasn't interested in anything anymore. Like he really took my innocence, and that's how the devil do it. Like I feel like if the devil really want to attack your spirit or try to consume your spirit, they do it through people close to you. And this is why, you know what, I had to realize like I can't allow what happened to me consume me and be a victim. I don't want to be a victim. I want to be a victor and just know I overcame it. And now I know when I become a mother, I don't know the red flags to look out for. And now this a-hole is sitting behind a jail cell for the rest of his life. And I don't know if he feels any remorse. He probably don't. Um, do I ever think about visiting him? I thought about it a few times, but then I'm like, why? Because I know he's not sorry for what he did, and what's the point of me visiting him? I feel like it was reversed. It like not trying to say me doing something bad. Like say if I was to be locked up, right? God forbid, he would never visit me. So I'm like, I know to be petty, but it's like, come on now. I kind of feel sorry for his soul. So I feel like while he's in here, like while he's in there, he better have like mercy on himself, and hopefully God have mercy on his soul because he really took out a life, a young woman's life in the most disgusting, demonic way. I don't want to go too much into details of how he murdered this young girl, but he's fucking disgusting. Y'all might put two and two together and look it up, but he's fucking disgusting. And when he did it, I wasn't surprised to hear that he did it. Like before the sentence was even given, I knew he did it. And it's just like, I just felt like, damn, he had so many chances in life. And some people would look at it like, oh, I wonder. Sometimes people judge a person's family just because of what somebody did. But my mom never raised us to be in that light. This was all manifestation of him not being grateful and dibbling and dabbling into more, I would feel like low vibrational situations, porn, like just very low vibrational. Because a lot of people don't understand that dibbling dabbling into low vibrational frequency so much it will cause you to become a monster. Remember, indulgence, too much of something is never good, regardless. Too much of drinking, too much of anything that brings in pleasure is never good. Everything in life is supposed to be a balance. You have to have accountability for self, responsibility, owning up to your stuff. Like that's a part of being like a man and a human, like an adult too. Like, come on. I know we all make mistakes in our lives, but sometimes after a while, it's just not a mistake. It's a choice. It's a choice. There's too many situations going on where we cannot enable things anymore, especially if you made a conscious decision and a choice to act on it and do it, which cause in a demise either of yourself, your livelihood, or somebody else. It's not right. So for the people who've been through what I've been through, I understand what you're going through and I'm sorry. Like just know that it gets better. Write down what happened to you. Talk about what happened to you. because this is your story. Because I had to tell myself, like, I was so adamant about even bringing this up. I always wanted to talk to people about it. I might even one day want to become a motivational speaker and speak in front of thousands of people. Like, yo, like, you cannot hold in what you've been through. Your story is to be shared. It don't even got to be about the money, because some people do things for money. No, just do it because it's healing. Do it because what you've been through is going to help somebody else. And by helping somebody else is helping yourself. And that's all I want, is to help another soul. This right now could probably help somebody and be like, you know what? Life does get better. Like, I had to get my shit together after a while because I was going down turmoil. This is just how I felt. My mom didn't view it that way, but I did. Because I felt like, and I felt, because even if it wasn't in my outer world, it was my inner world that was feeling like, I feel like I was going down, a spiral. And then eventually, if you hit rock bottom from inside, it's going to start showing on the outside in your world, and it was starting to do that. I was starting to affect people, especially guys that were caring for me, and I didn't realize it because I'm like, because I don't trust you. I had to start taking accountability for myself and stop feeling sorry for myself. I was like, okay, this thing happened to me. Now I had to use it as a tool to move on with my life and grow as a beautiful, loving person. And if for young ladies who are going through that, do not keep it to yourself. Tell someone what happened to you. And if people in your family don't believe you, you're gonna have to go to like somebody outside. Like, a lot of people don't like to get cops involved and stuff, but eventually you have to, either that or put yourself in a group home or something. Trust me, I know a lot of females that went through certain situation. They put themselves in a group home. I wish I knew this. I didn't have that mentality then, but a lot of them really, like, when something got became too much in their family, they end up putting themselves in shelter or group home, whatever, to focus on themselves. Because remember, there's case managers, there's resources that can help you. These young ladies, they focus on themselves, they focus on schools, they got their degrees, and look, they made a life for themselves because they had to get out of the environment that they were in. I didn't understand that. First of all, I was 14, 15 years old. Of course, in my 20s, I could have done that, but I didn't know there was such resources like that. I had to learn how to crawl out of the hole, the darkness, on my own. Because, especially in the Black families, they don't believe, like the older generation, they don't believe in therapy, don't believe in seeing psychiatrists, because it's, the topic of mental health at the time was considered a weakness. It's like, oh, we got to be strong, especially young Black girls. We got to be strong. We got to do this. We got to do that. I'm not playing these games. Like, if I don't feel right, I'm not going to fake it. Some people are comfortable faking it, and some people, now we living in times with this whole pandemonium, that people been faking it for so long. You starting to see that they can't fake it no more, because there's a lot of inner conflict going on within the self. You know what I'm saying? And just living your truth. This is what happened to me, and this is my truth. Some people don't like when you talk about what you went through. This is my story. You can't. If this is not for you, click out. Click out. So this is the end of my video. I thought it was gonna be at least 2 hours. It's not. It's 1.5 hours, which is cool. Um, I'm gonna get my dog Muffin, by the way. Thanks for watching this video. If y'all have any more questions, just leave it in the comments below. Please don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button. And if you can, please, I don't like begging, but hey, support your girl. Support your girl. The Cash App is down below. Scrolling down below, Shatika Wright. And I hope that this story wasn't too intense. Thanks for watching though. So I really, really appreciate y'all. And if y'all have any questions, as in like if you need help on something, just let me know. Like emotionally, reach out. If you're feeling like you want to give up on life, reach out to me, because I know how that feels. Like after everything I've been through, like the foster care system, you know, my weird ass fucking adopted brother being disgusting and want to touch me and shit like that, and my birth mom passing away, and me being bullied, me not feeling beautiful because society put out this image that I'm not beautiful because of my skin and my hair and this and my body and that and this and that. Like, It took me a while to get, and I'm still working on loving myself, but I'm telling you, I'm better now than I was a couple of years ago. So, y'all hear my dog barking? She turning up. She turning up. Hold on. Yeah, so I know, and there's a couple of times I just didn't want to continue on with life either. So I know. It was a couple of times I was like, look, I'm about to clock out. I'm about to like end it all. That's how I was. But then I had a fight. It was like that. Remember, if you hear that voice that's telling you to keep going, that's your higher self. That's the love frequency telling you like, look, things get better. The stuff that's telling you doubts, that's not the real you. That's the devil. That's just low vibrational energy trying to keep you stagnant and low. Because we're going through dark, 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 dark times. A lot of things are coming to the surface. We having a lot of things that we have to reflect on. Even our past is coming back. Like I stated, like I just was having dreams about this crazy dude. Like, why are you? And he was chasing me in my dreams. Like I was crawling out the window, climbing on walls. Like it was a weird ass dream. To me, people would think it's a nightmare, but to me, it wasn't a nightmare. It was just one of those like I was running from it, and I was like, maybe because it's time for me to tell the story because I've been thinking about telling my story for a very long time, but I kept giving an excuse not to because I was caring about what other people think and thinking like, I don't want to hurt other people's feelings. I can't think like that anymore because this story is meant to come out because I believe it's supposed to help somebody, and that's what I'm going to do. So I see y'all later. Thanks for watching my video. Until then, I love y'all. See y'all later.